Good evening, everybody. We have Kolut with us for his interview. As always, I am your Dungeon Stepdaddy. And to my right here is the ugliest
The
individual.
Dungeon God! Yay! Got another one.
Yeah. So, Kolut, tell us a little bit about yourself
Uh, well, um,
or your
first of
character.
all, name's Scott. Been, I'm actually relatively new to D&D for as old as I am. I only started kind of right at the beginning of the pandemic, taking full advantage of everything going virtual. Uh, Not a huge go out and meet new people kind of person, so doing things virtually, being able to find games that way was great. I got into about 10 sessions into my first campaign, and the DM had to quit, and I've been the DM ever since. So this is an opportunity for me to be a player, and I am enjoying it so far. I am playing Kolut, as you said, who started the campaign as a dwarf. He's an artificer, and he is, struggling to find his way in a new world, and having to deal with people, which is something that he'd rather hole himself up in a laboratory and play with his concoctions and potions, and uh, instead he's out here interacting with people and talking to others. So, you know, that's that's Colette in a nutshell.
Yeah. And what subclass did you end up choosing for your artificer?
He is an alchemist. So
Mmm.
yeah, concoctions.
Oh, yes. And you're welcome to share anything about your backstory that you wouldn't, or that you would want the characters to know, since they're allowed to watch these interviews. So if you don't want them to know, don't share it to the interwebs, and we'll play it out in the campaign. Um,
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, go ahead.
Oh. I think one of the big things that he would have talked about, at least with Nylar, probably ad nauseum, would be uh, that he's trying to recreate a formula that his dad had, um, which made their dwarven community mining adventures particularly um, fruitful and
Oh, the one he
easy
was
for the miners.
the one he was
And
pouring on the pile of dwarves, right?
yes, and he can't figure it out. His mother banned him for most of his life from following in his father's footsteps. So it wasn't until she passed away, when Colette was about 600 years old, that he took up alchemy and basically taught himself. So he's still learning, still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and isn't Coletta a little bit on the thinner side as far as dwarves go?
He is. He, like I said, would rather spend his time holed up in a laboratory. And he's the kind of person that once he gets into the work he's doing, he will forget to eat very quickly. And because he's not in the mines and he's not a very physical dwarf, he lost a lot of that muscle mass that he would have had or did have in his younger years.
But in true dwarf fashion, he still enjoys his drink. Whether
His drink and his beard.
yes, 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 he does have quite an epic beard.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're on episode 11. How you liking it so far? You really how you feeling out the campaign so far?
I'm having a lot of fun. Definitely. I will say that jumping into a homebrew world is it's a little bit of a learning curve, because there's things that my character isn't supposed to know, or uh, meeting new and different races because he came from a world that was exclusively dwarves. Yeah, that's a little bit of a learning curve, which you wouldn't think it was, because I homebrewed my second campaign. But yeah, This one's it's different, which makes it a lot of fun because I can't go listen to a podcast and kind of get a feeling of how it's going to go or anything like that. So yeah, having a blast,
Good.
and there's a lot of really cool players and fun characters to interact with.
Yeah, I see you've made a friend out of Nylar, um, another individual that a little socially awkward, also likes to hold himself up. So you feel like there's a little kindred there?
Yeah, I think you're going to find that with most intelligence based characters anyway. Um, but it's fun with Nylar because it's kind of like a little bit friends, a little bit father son. Because while Kolut understands social norms, just doesn't want to participate in them, Nylar doesn't. So he's trying to like keep Nylar out of trouble and teach him social norms while also just being a grumpy old man.
Yeah, you're basically dealing with Sheldon. So yeah, no, super fun. I'm loving the interaction. Um, I know you've come at odds with well, I don't want to say at odds, but with the cleric. I know your character's a little gruff, right? Um, very matter of factly speaking in his tones. So I'll be happy to see how that the whole group dynamic pans out. And then of course you've got our aggressive bird bath, Aarakocra.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think everybody's working out very well,
Is it
and it's all very different.
is it aggressive bird bath or is it future blowgun?
It all depends on when she dies, um, or if she dies. I guess technically she did just die, but she got better. Um,
What is he talking about, you ask? Go watch the stream.
yeah, well, like we said, we're on 11. If you want to skip everything, I mean, I'm not going to complain. Yeah, so you were searching for campaigns, and there's
Yeah.
thousands of campaigns ranging from free to paid. Why'd you choose ours?
My reasons for choosing this campaign were purely selfish. I wanted a campaign where the other players were going to have the same commitment to show up on time and participate as I was going to have. And the best way to do that was to find a paid one. And, um, I also liked the sound of the homebrewed world, the description you guys posted online. Um, so, with those two things combined, super, a world ruled by dragons can't get any better than that, right?
Yeah, it was all my idea. Everything you
Yeah,
see.
naturally. Hence the
Oh,
name.
but it's okay because if you get stuck, you can just look for me.
I'll build. He can work on the details. I'll put it in place or something. I don't know.
He'll just create all the fun NPCs, right?
Yeah,
Like the one we met in the last session, which you should go back and watch.
yeah, what are you thinking about? Like, is there anything about the campaign that really stands out that you enjoy? Like, are you enjoying the voices? Are you enjoying the NPC interaction, the combats? Is there anything that just really sticks out to you?
Uh, the fact that you hit me with Christopher Walken, the very first session I joined, um, and you had me at hello when you said it with that voice. Um, I I just want to get back to the Crystal City so we can see Christopher Walken again.
Do you remember his name?
No,
That's
I
fine.
also don't think I wrote it down, so I couldn't go back and look at my notes.
Yeah, that was a thing I noticed. For a while there, nobody was writing down any notes, and then I noticed you're like, yeah, I wrote this down, and I wrote this down. And I'm like, weird.
Yesterday's session, I got we got through the first we got through the mansion, and I like took my notebook and set it down off to the side, And then we got to the end of the session, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't take notes," so I had to go back and write down everything I remembered from the session at the end.
Write it
It's
down
not a
right
way to
now.
do it. At least I wouldn't recommend it.
No, you can definitely miss out on some details, but at least you went back and did it. The other group also has a very talented note taker. Um, I read their notes from time to time.
She likes to upload them. Works good.
I'm old. I put it in a book.
That's what she does. She's no cards.
Very military style of you. I'm surprised it's not a green cloth back book.
Don't have any of those anymore. I threw them away when we moved.
We burn them in a fiery pile. Oh, DG, do you got anything else for him?
What do you think about our stream so far?
Not gonna lie, I haven't watched it yet.
Good, because you're not supposed to.
Exactly. I'm not supposed to. Yeah, I know. I'm interested to see where the two streams will collide and in what kind of fiery fashion that will happen.
I've got some ideas.
Yeah.
Will you guys be friends? Will you be enemies? Will you be lovers? Who knows?
It's going to take a long time to get to that point, but I'm very excited to see what the character development between the whole group.
Yeah. And speaking of character development, you asked things that I've enjoyed so far. Last session, actually, last couple of sessions, getting into some of the things with Cliff have been a lot of fun. Interested to see how his relationship with the Jester will evolve. And yeah, like the integrating backstories with a campaign is my favorite part of running a campaign. So seeing it happen, it makes me excited for what's going to happen.
One could
And
say
knowing the things that I know before the next session will be a good one.
You could say that the backstories are almost a reflection. One last question.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you like Eddie?
Eddie.
With 2 Ds.
With 2 Ds.
You said Eddie with 2 Ds, so I wrote it EDDY, right? I did not realize it was ED-D until I saw it on Foundry yesterday. Eddie's a hoot. Gotta love a friendly mimic, I guess. As long as we keep him fed, that's all that matters. It reminds me of Venom, and would love to see it evolve in that direction. But that's not my character, and I'm not the DM. So
yeah, I mean it's hard to say what a life cleric will do with a mimic. But yeah, no, the inspiration was Venom. Unfortunately, I had wholeheartedly expected him to be a one and done NPC, and of course, the one I did not plan out like the rest of them ended up getting the most attention. I'm like, well, okay, I guess he's a canon event now.
Yeah, no, it is. As a DM, one of my favorite things is seeing how the players will fuck up your story, and that one didn't screw anything up, but they certainly don't do things the way you expect them to, do they?
Oh no. The fight last night I expected to be a little bit different, but it worked out. I actually thought you guys were going to take more cards. I'm like, there's playing cards in this world, right? Like, that's totally a thing. I'll catch them all off guard.
I would like to let you know that I have a physical deck of many things if we need it, should the time come.
Yeah, dude, just send it over.
Yeah. This was actually a very custom one, because I didn't feel like searching for people's souls at level 5. Yeah. You never know what you're gonna roll, so.
You sure don't.
But you guys got some very interesting results out of it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm also interested to see what comes of these predictions that we got in the mansion a couple sessions ago.
I wonder how those will play out.
Yeah. Foreshadowing and stuff, right?
Yeah. What was his name? Lord something or other?
I don't know.
That's his name now.
Doesn't matter who owned the mansion. all that matters is we found weird notes in our pockets.
I love the mansion. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, no, I set it up so that you guys would not be fighting to the death as often as I had you guys doing it. So I'm like, we got to give them a win here. How can we do that and make it fun?
Death is part of the game.
Although I did not expect to drop poor Cliff, but that crit was ridiculous.
That crit was very, very well rolled.
Yeah, it was. He's only supposed to roll like maybe an 11. And like, yeah, 39. It's like, oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you gotta love it when the average damage is not what is rolled when it's what is expected.
And then a crit on top of it. You're like, okay, well, there goes the life cleric. At least they had you, so
Yeah.
you got another person who can cure wounds and whatnot.
Yeah. Yep. Gotta create more of those healing potions too when I get the chance.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised you didn't just pour a potion into his mouth and maybe he just starts floating on the ground. Big old corpse floating on the ground.
This one does.
He seems faster. You can't tell, but his hands are vibrating like he had an energy drink.
I'm doing that next time.
You're like, this is canon now. We're gonna test it on the corpse.
I'm gonna take this experimental potion I made this morning and pour it in Cliff's mouth.
Yeah, because you always get a free one. You can always use a spell slot for another one if you so choose.
It's all fun games until your experiment succeeds with your backstory that you poured in somebody's mouth.
Good times.
Just a warning, Cliff. If it doesn't go down after 4 hours, come back to me.
Cliff's. I'll tell you what. Kolut would not have helped out STD boy in the market the way Cliff was willing to.
I mean, the touch spell doesn't necessarily mean that you have to touch his junk. He could have touched his shoulder. He chose to touch his junk.
That's Cliff for you, though.
I love the commitment with his bouldery, dirty hands. So it works out.
Yeah.
Anything else from you, DG?
Nope.
Kolut, you got any closing comments?
If you haven't watched the first 11 sessions, you need to go back and watch them, and then you'll be all caught up and ready to catch the rest of them.
I thought you were going to say these hands. All right.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of rays of sickness and whatnot from you.
So I didn't say Kolut. I said me, not Kolut.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
Yeah. So catch up on the streams and then be ready to catch chlamydia.
Like Damon.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, Kolut, thank you for joining us. These are all voluntary interviews, and glad you joined in, and can't wait to see what happens on next session. You got quite a story to tell.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's going to be so fun.
All right. Well, you have yourself a good night, and thanks.
You too.
Bye.